My name is Kass Urban-Mead, and I'm a graduate student in the Cornell Entomology Department. And I'm really excited to be doing research here at EVES as one of the 9 forest sites that I'm studying. And you're wondering, these are orchards, why are we studying the forests? So if we look just in the orchard first, we know that of the 416 wild bee species that are in New York State, over 80 of those just in the Finger Lakes region will visit apple orchards, and in New York State broadly, 120 of those wild bee, non-honeybee species will all visit apples. And bees like the mining bee are even better pollinators on a per visit basis than the honeybee. So we're really excited about those services that the wild bees offer to our orchards. In fact, on many orchards, we think that the orchardists don't need honeybees even to get full pollination because of these vibrant wild pollinating communities. But to have a vibrant wild bee pollinating community, they have to be living somewhere when the apples aren't blooming. And so earlier research in Brian Danforth's lab, where I'm a lab member, found that of the bees who were foraging an apple, a large proportion of those were also carrying tons of tree pollen. And this was even during mass apple bloom. They were doing a great job pollinating, all the fruit was set, but even so, the bees were carrying ash, maple, oak, birch, really common forest tree pollen from around the area. And I was really interested in that both because that was a clue that these habitats might be really important for wild bees, and it was also ecologically interesting because a lot of those wild trees are wind pollinated and so are often discounted as bee resources just because the tree doesn't need the bee, and so we think, well, that's probably not a good resource for this co-evolved plant-bee relationship. But it turns out that just because the tree is relying on the wind to actually set its new fruit, the bees are still able to grab a lot of that protein resource and use it to help create healthy offspring. And nutrition is a hugely important factor in bee health. So I've been working in forests around the Finger Lakes region to characterize the communities of wild bee diversity in the canopy and the understory of these forested areas that are right adjacent to the bees, with the hopes of someday informing forest management and giving value to this resource that in turn helps keep healthy fruits and vegetables across our region.